In this video today, I'm going to take you through the #1 driver distance killer and how we can fix it and get some more yardage out of it. I think we can stop the video. Look at this, straight out of the middle. And the #1 killer we want to avoid is the strike location. As we know, we want to increase our ball speed to get more distance, but if we are pattering the toe, the heel, too far out of the bottom, too far out of the top, we dramatically reduce our ball speed, thus dramatically reducing our distance. But I'm going to give you 3 things that I want you to try and do that will increase the frequency of your centered strikes and up your distance. Now, the first thing we have to do is actually get a little bit of a monitoring going on with our strike location, because we could stand there and think we're hitting the middle when we're actually not. Real simple, dry shampoo, great little training aid. If you're going down to the driving range or you're practicing, just take a little spray, cover your face in there, and what this is going to do when we actually hit a shot, it's going to give us a reference point for where we are striking the golf ball. So simply take your normal setup, make a swing at it, and even there, I know that's going to be a little bit heely. We can see that one there, right out of the heel. That is going to limit my ball speed and drop my distance down. So the first thing we want to do, if you are getting too toey or heely, we want to check where we are at address. Now, one of the common things that I see from amateurs is all to do with weight positioning in their feet when we get into the setup. And if we were to place the driver and line it up to the middle, if I simply take my setup now and I move all my weight towards my toes, what that will do once I have grip of the golf club is actually push the heel out towards the golf ball there, and vice versa. If I were to drag all my weight into the heels, you can see that the club now comes inside, thus bringing more of the toe towards the golf ball. So that is going to limit me finding the center of the golf club. So what we have to try and do, and the big common one I would say is that we see too many people sat in the heels, is actually find a point where as we address the golf ball, we feel nice and sturdy. I don't feel like I'm leaning too much over it into my toes, and I don't feel like I'm actually moving too much into my heels. So all I would simply do is, as you address it and you get the ball in the center of the club, feel like you lock your knees up here so your legs feel really straight. What that will do is actually level out where the pressure is in your feet. Then if you just have a slight softening of the knees, you will feel that the weight now is actually running more towards the balls of your feet, just in front of center here. So if you imagined if I had a line down, it would sit here. It's not on the toes and it's not too much towards the heels. We want to have it sitting just in the balls of the feet here. And then what I simply want you to do is make some really small, slow practice swings that once you've found it in your address position, we can now swing up to the top. Feel that we've loaded, but as we come down slowly into impact, I want you to feel that you're in a very similar place. Try and feel that you've not dragged away back into the heels too much, or that you've moved too much into the toes and stood up as we're going through it. Have a few little run throughs, feeling that you can keep that balance throughout the feet and bring the club back towards center, and just be a little bit more aware of where you are, because if you do this, I would hazard a guess that you'll feel either one of the other, too much in the heels or too much in the toes, and that is going to really limit that strike. So club in, lined up to the center, take the address position, lock the knees, get set, and then just a slight softening of them, and we're really going to focus on trying to find that good balanced position throughout the swing. Feels better straight away. I think we can stop the video. Look at this, straight out of the middle. Didn't have to do anything crazy. Just think, if you're moving too much heels or toes, you're going to alter where that strike location is. Another fault that we might find is all to do with whether we're hitting it too high or too low on the face, and there's 2 reasons for this as we go through. Number one, all to do with what I'm doing right now. You might be pegging it up far too high. You might have the ball really elevated above the club face, or you might be someone who pegs it a little bit too low, and if you deliver a slight upward blow here, we would catch the ball a little bit too thin. I'll just give us a demonstration of that. If I make my normal golf swing, even there, how excessively low that was, nearly missed the golf ball. It's come out right at the bottom of the club face there. So we've got to make sure we're teeing it appropriately. And there's obviously a range of Castle tees that you can buy from, I think it's white to orange. Find the one that's right for you. We also have to look at our angle of attack. So what I mean by that is that as we are coming into the golf ball, we either want to be approaching it down. If we were hitting an iron, we'd want to have the ball here and the club would be delivering a descending blow. With the driver, we want to try and see that we would hit it more on the up. So real simple. You can get a wedge like this if you wanted, but all we want to try and feel is that if we were to peg the golf ball up, a good rule of thumb would be having half the golf ball's equator above the club face there. But what we simply want to do now, if I were to line up, I want to imagine that as I'm coming through impact, I'm just feeling a gradual little rise up this ramp here. I'm not hitting down on it, which we see a lot of golfers do. We always want to hit it harder, so we start with the arms and throw the club head down into the ground. And a great telltale sign if you are that person, broken tee pegs and little divots and huge ungainly sky marks on the top of your driver. Make sure that you can get the feeling once we're addressed. We have a slight little tilt of the shoulders behind the golf ball and our spine behind it, and we feel just in some small little practice swings here that through impact we feel like we're just sweeping it up. It doesn't have to be a drastic amount because then we'll bottom out too early and probably top it. We just want to have a little motion here where I feel I'm working up the ramp. Feel here, so as I would do that, what would happen is the middle of that golf club would be just traveling slightly on the up, and I would start to get more of an upward strike and see that I find the right location in terms of from top to bottom. So good setup, feel we get the tilt, and my only thought here now, once I find that balanced position in my legs, is to feel that I just get a slight sweep up, nothing excessive, just a nice little sweeping of the golf ball. Tell you what, we take those two, and again pretty much where we want, just above centre, slightly toey, which brings me nicely onto my third and final thing that I want you to do if you want to try and find more of the centre. A lot of people deliver a glancing blow when we get into the golf ball, and what I mean by that is that if we have a target line from ball out towards the middle of the fairway, we work the club either too much from the inside to out or outside to in. So we would be getting the club working across the golf ball, and most commonly, as the slicers know, we work from out to in. Real simple thing you can do to try and change this when you're down at the driving range or on the practice tee. Take your golf club, get a grip in front and place a tee peg, and then a grip behind, place another tee peg. So we've got about 2 to 3 feet there. You can take the ball off for a second, and all we want to try and feel is that we just work on a slight arc in these tee pegs. So we have the middle one as where our golf ball would be, and what we don't want to do is feel like we're excessively travelling inside and outside of these pegs. Just feel that you just come slightly inside here, the club would meet the golf ball, and it would just work back inside as we're going through. The golf swing is an arc. It works inside, works back inside, and works back inside this way. We're not trying to change it lots. Just this simple little drill here of just feeling like we just work it over and around these tee pegs in a small motion like this. We'll start to see that we actually get the club on a less glancing path. I would then bring your golf ball back in, lower these pegs, great little visual, do this out on the golf course if you're at the driving range maybe, a little drawing of chalk or something like that will help you. But set it up, find that feet position, we're not unbalanced, make sure we're going to approach it on the right attack angle, and feel like we're just working just inside both these pegs here, and then we should see that we get a lovely strike. Oh, Joel, we get a lovely strike just like that one, and that is going to get your ball speed up and your distance up. Also, it's going to limit your curvature as well. So 3 things, not drastic swing changes, real simple basics. Make sure we find where we are in setup. Let's just try and get a little bit of a sweep, and let's just work a tiny arc, and we'll start to see that this thing becomes a fairway finder with a bit of distance for you. I hope you're enjoying the video. Why not, in the comments below, let us know which of the tips is going to help you generate the most distance.